12. Black actors who are gay. What if everything you thought you knew about your favorite black celebrities was only half the truth? Behind the red carpets and record deals are stories that challenge everything about love, identity, and what it means to be real in Hollywood. These aren't just actors. They're revolutionaries rewriting the rules of fame and sexuality in the spotlight. From secret romances to bold confessions, this list will leave you speechless. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence, where the untold truths finally get the spotlight they deserve. Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith has never been one to follow conventional scripts, whether in her film career or her personal life. Born in Baltimore in 1971, she rose to fame with powerful roles in films like Set It Off, The Matrix, Reloaded, and Collateral. But beyond the screen, Jada has consistently challenged societal expectations, particularly around identity, womanhood, and sexuality. While Jada identifies as heterosexual, she has spoken candidly about her experiences with women in her youth. During a revealing episode of her Facebook Watch series Red Table Talk, she discussed her attraction to women and described sexuality as existing on a spectrum rather than within rigid categories. Her comments did not serve as a formal coming out, but they made it clear she does not see sexual identity as black and white. Instead, she embraces complexity, describing love and attraction as deeply human and often unpredictable. What sets Jada apart is her refusal to be boxed in. For years, public curiosity swirled around her marriage to actor Will Smith, with rumors suggesting they had an open or non-traditional relationship. Rather than deny or confirm every speculation, Jada has leaned into transparency on her terms. Through Red Table Talk, she's used her platform to explore emotional intimacy, gender dynamics, and personal evolution. Her honesty often blurs the line between host and guest as she fearlessly dives into her own vulnerabilities to foster open conversation. Her approach has garnered both praise and criticism. Some applaud her for dismantling stigma and promoting authentic self-reflection. Others accuse her of oversharing or courting controversy. But Jada remains undeterred, believing that meaningful dialogue about sex identity and relationships can lead to greater understanding and acceptance. While she doesn't publicly identify as gay or bisexual, her acknowledgement of same-sex experiences adds important nuance to the public discourse. In a world that often demands clear labels, Jada resists categorization. This resistance is powerful. It reflects the lived experience of many individuals, especially black women, whose sexualities cannot be simplified into neat descriptors. Her openness has also inspired younger generations navigating their own journeys of self-discovery. By discussing attraction without shame, and by refusing to invalidate her own past just because it doesn't conform to traditional expectations, she affirms that self-awareness is a lifelong process, and that growth, curiosity, and change are not weaknesses, but strengths. In Hollywood, where image is everything, Jada Pinkett Smith has dared to be raw, unfiltered, and evolving. Whether she's confronting her past, talking about mental health, or opening up about love in all its forms, she brings a level of emotional bravery that few public figures sustain. Today, she stands not only as an accomplished actress and producer, but also as a thought leader, unafraid to disrupt the status quo. Her willingness to explore sexuality openly without fear, guilt, or definitive labeling makes her an important figure in the ongoing conversation about identity in the black community and beyond. Raven-Symoné. Raven-Symoné began her journey in the spotlight as a child star with a warm smile and undeniable charisma. Born in 1985, she first captured hearts on The Cosby Show, then went on to headline one of Disney Channel's most iconic series, That's So Raven. But while millions watched her grow up on screen, her personal evolution, especially around her sexuality, unfolded more privately and intentionally. For much of her early career, Raven kept her personal life under wraps. Though she had been aware of her identity for years, she chose not to come out publicly until she felt ready. In 2013, she made headlines when she tweeted in response to the legalization of same-sex marriage, "I can finally get married, yay government, so proud of you." The message, simple yet powerful, served as her quiet declaration to the world. From that moment, she began to speak more openly about her life as a lesbian woman on her own terms, without sensationalism. Her decision to wait wasn't about shame, it was about control. Raven has been vocal about her desire to live authentically, but also privately. In interviews, she's addressed the pressure of being a role model while navigating both her sexuality and race in the public eye. She's acknowledged the added complexities of being a Black woman in entertainment, and how cultural expectations can make coming out even more emotionally layered. In 2020, Raven married Miranda Pierman Madej in a private ceremony marking a joyful milestone in her journey. The announcement shared on social media reflected Raven's continued embrace of love stability and freedom from hiding. Raven has said she doesn't like being put in boxes, even resisting rigid labels like gay or lesbian early on. She prefers to describe herself as a human who loves humans. That perspective aligns with her long-held belief in individual choice and fluidity. Today, she continues to act produce and use her platform to advocate for equality, especially for LGBTQ+ youth who may be watching her example. Through patience, wit, and self-awareness, Raven Simonet has transformed from a child star into a quiet revolutionary. She's proven that coming out doesn't need to be performative to be powerful. Her legacy now includes not only her television accomplishments, but also her bold reclamation of her truth in a world that often wants to script it for you. Frank Ocean. Born Christopher Edwin Breaux in 1987. Frank Ocean emerged as one of the most distinctive voices of his generation. Known for his haunting lyrics, genre-blending sound, and quiet demeanor, he became an icon almost overnight after the release of his 2012 album Channel Orange. But it wasn't just his music that made waves, it was the letter he published days before the album dropped. In a raw, poetic Tumblr post, Frank shared that his first love had been a man. It was a seismic moment for the music industry. In a genre like R&B often saturated with machismo, his confession defied stereotypes and ignited urgent conversations. It wasn't a calculated PR move. It was vulnerable, unfiltered truth. And it hit like lightning. Frank's letter wasn't just about sexuality. It was about emotion, heartbreak, and youth. The honesty in his storytelling was revolutionary. Artists like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Tyler, the Creator, publicly praised him. He didn't just come out, he redefined what it meant to be a Black man in music, especially in spaces where queer identity had long been taboo. Since that moment, Frank has continued to resist traditional fame. He avoids interviews, rarely appears on red carpets, and carefully curates his releases. Blonde, 2016, his second major album, further explored themes of love and identity. Though he has never labeled himself with terms like gay or bisexual, his lyrics paint a nuanced portrait of longing and connection, often genderless but always emotionally potent. Frank's refusal to conform has only added to his influence. He's opened doors for younger LGBTQ+ artists, showing that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a source of artistic strength. He made space for emotional masculinity and queerness to coexist and thrive. Even as he remains enigmatic, his impact is profound. Frank Ocean's bravery didn't come from loud declarations. It came from a quiet revolution saying just enough to change everything. And in doing so, he left an indelible mark on both music and the culture that surrounds it. Beyoncé. Beyoncé Knowles Carter, born in 1981 in Houston, Texas, is more than just a global superstar. She is a cultural architect, an artist whose influence extends far beyond music. Over the past 2 decades, Beyoncé has cemented her legacy not only through record-breaking albums and electrifying performances, but also through her unwavering support of marginalized communities, including LGBTQ+ individuals in entertainment. Though Beyoncé does not identify as gay, her connection to the queer community runs deep. In 2012, when Frank Ocean came out in a heartfelt letter revealing his love for a man, Beyoncé responded with quiet grace and powerful solidarity. She posted a tribute to him that read, "Be fearless, Be honest, be generous, be brave, be poetic, be open, be free. These words scrawled over a photo of Frank resonated across the internet, offering a kind of blessing from one cultural titan to another. Her support hasn't been limited to social media gestures. Through her music, she has embraced gender fluidity, sexual empowerment, and queer identity. Tracks like Formation and Run the World became anthems not just for women, but for LGBTQ+ communities seeking representation, strength, and joy. Her 2016 Lemonade visual album, hailed as a masterpiece, featured Black queer artists and filmmakers behind the scenes, solidifying her commitment to amplifying voices that rarely get center stage. In 2019, she and husband Jay-Z were honored with the Gallade Vanguard Award for their contributions to LGBTQ+ visibility. Beyoncé used her speech to acknowledge the brave trailblazers who live their truths openly and paid tribute to her late Uncle Johnny, a gay man who helped raise her and introduced her to fashion and performance. Whether she's advocating for trans rights, including queer dancers in her world tours, or uplifting LGBTQ+ youth through charitable efforts, Beyoncé has shown time and again that allyship isn't passive. It's loud, proud, and deeply integrated into her brand of justice and artistry. Jay-Z Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, stands as one of hip-hop's most successful and influential figures. Born in Brooklyn in 1969, he rose from poverty to become a billionaire entrepreneur, respected lyricist, and music mogul. But what sets Jay-Z apart is not just his accolades, it's how he's used his power to open doors for voices often silenced in the rap community. Historically, hip-hop hasn't always been a welcoming space for LGBTQ+ artists. Hypermasculinity, homophobia, and rigid gender norms often ruled the narrative. But Jay-Z began shifting that culture subtly at first, then more boldly over time. When Frank Ocean came out publicly in 2012, Jay-Z and Beyoncé were among the first mainstream figures to offer visible public support. Jay-Z didn't just repost a message, he went further. In a 2013 interview with CNN, he said, "This is the time to really be open. It's just like discrimination. It's no difference. It's discrimination, plain and simple." His words made waves in a genre that rarely addressed such topics without judgment. Jay-Z has also used his documentary platform Footnotes for 444 to spotlight Black men, including queer men, discussing vulnerability, identity, and emotional healing. These nuanced conversations reflect Jay-Z's own evolution from a hardened persona to a figure of wisdom and growth. In 2019, he and Beyoncé received the Gallade Vanguard Award, becoming the first couple ever to be jointly honored. Jay-Z paid tribute to his mother, Gloria Carter, who came out as a lesbian later in life. Her journey inspired his song Smile, where he raps about her bravery and the pain of hiding for decades. The track ends with Gloria's spoken word reflection. "Love who you love, because life isn't guaranteed." By supporting LGBTQ+ individuals from the boardroom to the booth, Jay-Z is helping redefine what allyship looks like in Black masculinity and creating space for the next generation to thrive in truth. RuPaul born. RuPaul Andre Charles in 1960. The Atlanta-born performer didn't just enter the entertainment industry, he conquered it. Before terms like gender non-conforming and drag culture were part of mainstream vocabulary, RuPaul was already serving glamour, wit, and unapologetic truth. Today, he stands as one of the most influential gay Black entertainers in history. RuPaul first rose to prominence in the early 1990s with his breakout hit Supermodel You Better Work, a track that played with gender beauty and stardom like never before. But it was his brilliance in merging music, television, fashion, and activism that set him apart. From the beginning, RuPaul was out and proud, a bold act at a time when very few LGBTQ+ public figures could be. His long-running show RuPaul's Drag Race launched in 2009 and became a global cultural phenomenon. The series not only introduced the art of drag to a mainstream audience, but also created space for LGBTQ+ performers of color to be celebrated. Underneath the wigs and sequins, RuPaul built a platform that championed self-acceptance, resilience, and transformation. RuPaul's identity as a gay man and his role as a gender-bending icon made him a trailblazer, especially for Black queer youth seeking validation in a world that often told them they were too much. He didn't water himself down to fit into the industry. He made the industry fit around him. Beyond the stage, RuPaul has received numerous accolades, including multiple Emmy Awards and a spot on Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People. Despite criticism at times for his takes on gender identity within drag, he has continued evolving, listening, and expanding his platform to include broader LGBTQ+ voices. At over 60 years old, RuPaul continues to redefine what it means to age, succeed, and stay fabulous while never compromising who he is. Kerry Washington. While Kerry Washington is widely celebrated for her powerful on-screen roles, particularly as Olivia Pope in Scandal, she has also earned praise for her bold stance as an LGBTQ+ ally. Though not publicly identifying as gay, Washington's inclusion in the conversation comes from her unwavering commitment to visibility, representation, and the fluidity of identity, especially for Black women in the public eye. Born in 1977 in the Bronx, New York, Washington, has spent her career challenging traditional depictions of Black womanhood. In both her acting and activism, she has pushed for narratives that include nuance, complexity, and real emotional depth. This includes exploring queerness on screen, often portraying bisexual or sexually fluid characters with dignity and authenticity. Rumors about her own sexuality have swirled for years, but rather than deny or entertain them, Washington has used the speculation as a springboard for larger conversations about identity, privacy, and the societal obsession with labeling others. She once stated, "I don't live my life according to labels. I live my life according to love." Her allyship extends far beyond rhetoric. Washington has worked with organizations like GLSN and GLAAD, spoken out about the intersection of race and LGBTQ+ issues, and advocated for queer Black voices in media. In 2015, she received the Vanguard Award from GLAAD for her contributions to LGBTQ+ equality. Washington's advocacy is especially important given the unique challenges faced by queer people of color in Hollywood. She acknowledges the risks of being outspoken in an industry that still punishes women and especially Black women for deviating from the norm. Yet she continues to speak with clarity, empathy, and unwavering support. She is also a firm believer in storytelling as a tool for liberation. Through her production company, Simpson Street, she backs inclusive narratives that highlight the lives of marginalized groups, including LGBTQ+ communities. Kerry Washington proves that allyship isn't passive. It's vocal, intentional, and rooted in justice. She may never use a label for herself, but her impact on LGBTQ+ visibility, particularly within Black Hollywood, is undeniable. Tyler, the creator. Tyler. The creator has always thrived in contradiction. Loud, yet reserved, vulgar, yet poetic, rebellious, yet reflective. Born Tyler Gregory Okonma in 1991, the California native burst onto the music scene in the early 2010s with his collective Odd Future. Known for chaotic beats, dark humor, and confrontational lyrics, Tyler quickly gained attention, but also controversy. What many didn't expect was that Tyler would become one of hip-hop's most ambiguous and fascinating queer voices. In 2017, Tyler released his album Flower Boy, which marked a turning point in both tone and substance. Lyrics such as "I've been kissing white boys since 2004" sent shockwaves through a genre where homophobia had often gone unchecked. Fans and critics alike were unsure whether he was trolling, being symbolic, or revealing something deeply personal. But the vulnerability in Flower Boy felt authentic. It wasn't a stunt, it was introspection. Since then, Tyler has dropped breadcrumbs across interviews, songs, and live performances, never labeling himself, but often alluding to his sexuality. When asked if he was gay, bisexual, or something else, Tyler typically sidestepped the question with humor or cryptic wit. In doing so, he rewrote the rules about how queerness is expressed in a genre long known for hyper-masculine bravado. Rather than offer a definitive coming-out moment, Tyler allowed his art to speak. His 2019 Grammy-winning album Igor further explored themes of heartbreak and unrequited love, this time with male subjects clearly in focus. Songs like "A Boy is a Gun and I Think" left little doubt that his lyrics were steeped in genuine queer longing and emotional conflict. Tyler's refusal to categorize himself has drawn praise and criticism, but it mirrors the experience of many young people today who see sexuality as fluid, evolving, and personal. He's made space for non-traditional expressions of masculinity in rap performing in pastel suits, embracing camp aesthetics, and even jokingly flirting with male celebrities during performances. More than anything, Tyler, the Creator, has used his platform to question, disrupt, and reimagine what it means to be an artist, especially a queer Black artist in modern music. He never asked for permission, and he never apologized. In doing so, he made the underground mainstream and carved out a space where ambiguity and authenticity can coexist. Rihanna Robin, Rihanna Fenty, born in 1988 in Barbados, is an unstoppable force singer, fashion mogul, beauty entrepreneur, and cultural icon. But while she's built a billion-dollar empire in the public eye, she's managed to keep parts of her private life intriguingly veiled. Over the years, speculation has surrounded her sexuality, especially after a bombshell claim in 2011 suggested she had a past romantic encounter with a woman. That year, model Taja Burton released a memoir hinting at an affair with a female singer from Barbados. While no names were explicitly mentioned, many fans interpreted the clues as pointing toward Rihanna. The story spread quickly, fueled by Rihanna's bold image and history of embracing sensuality in music videos and fashion. Though Rihanna has never confirmed any same-sex relationships, her public persona is marked by a deliberate openness to fluidity. She's frequently spoken about the beauty of attraction and chemistry regardless of gender. In interviews, she's said that she doesn't believe love should be confined by rules, and her fashion line, Savage X Fenty, has cast LGBTQ+ models and drag queens as part of her inclusive, body-positive mission. What sets Rihanna apart is her confidence in saying nothing at all. She's never felt the need to address rumors directly or define herself for public consumption. Instead, she's chosen to lead by example, building a brand that celebrates diversity in all forms and publicly supporting LGBTQ+ rights around the globe. In 2019, Rihanna received the NAACP President's Award, and while her speech focused on racial unity, she also emphasized intersectionality, reminding the world that fighting for justice means lifting every voice, including queer voices of color. Now a mother and business titan, Rihanna remains as mysterious as ever when it comes to her romantic past. But her legacy goes beyond relationships. It's about being fearless in expression, inclusive in vision, and unbothered by the public's need for categorization. She may never put a label on herself, and she doesn't have to. Rihanna's mere presence has helped normalize sexual fluidity and empowered a generation to own every side of who they are unapologetically. In a world still obsessed with labels, these stories remind us that identity is not always meant to be defined. It's meant to be lived. From quiet revelations to bold declarations, these Black stars have shattered expectations and expanded the meaning of authenticity. Whether proudly out or embracing fluidity without explanation, their journeys challenge society to look deeper. What does it really mean to live your truth? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more stories that celebrate courage, complexity, and unapologetic greatness.